Hey everybody, my name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. I wanted to thank you for listening to this episode of The Morning Show. I'm the creator, the producer, and the host of the show. We want you to check out our website. It's themorningshowwithnatalie.com. You can go to that website. You can see all about our sponsors, all about the show. You can even listen to live episodes while they're going on right there from the website. Another way to listen to the show live is go to Live 365. You can download that app and just search for The Morning Show. It's right there. Super easy. We want you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you will. That way you can keep up with what's going on The Morning Show. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey friend, it's great to have you tuned into The Morning Show today. Here on The Morning Show, you'll hear your favorite Southern gospel music and some of the classics you'll never forget. And now, the hostess of The Morning Show, Natalie Duncan-Emmons.
When you wake up to the storm and all you feel are the waves crashing against your boat, you wonder if anybody remembers you or the journey that you're on. When you feel discouraged from what you see on the news or the events going on around you, well, friend, cut it off. Don't look to the left or to the right. Look up. And when everything inside of you is screaming to be afraid, to accept defeat, or to hand our enemy a victory, well, you need to sing. And then keep singing. Sing it some more. For we are God's people. And that's just what God's people do. Well, we sing.
He said sing, from a laughing heart just sing. When the night is darkest, sing. Let your joy explode and let music fill the air. And sing, when there's nothing else to do, sing. When something deep inside of you tells you that life is still a wonder, just throw back your head and sing. He said sing, from a laughing heart just sing. When the night is darkest, sing. Let your joy explode and let music fill the air. And sing, when there's nothing else to do, sing. When something deep inside of you tells you that life is still a wonder, just throw back your head and sing. When God created living things, He knew we'd need a way to share our fears, our questions, and our dreams. Oh, there were words, but words won't do when joy swells up inside. There simply had to be a better way. And you say sing, from a laughing heart just sing. When the night is darkest, sing. Let your joy explode and let music fill the air. And sing, when there's nothing else to do, sing. When something deep inside of you tells you that life is still a wonder, just throw back your head and sing. The birds God sent on flashing wings to fill the sky with song. Put music in the brook and crashing sea.
The wind blew through the threads of grass like fingers through the strings of golden harps and made the meadow sing.
Then he said sing, from a laughing heart just sing. When the night is darkest, sing. Let your joy explode and let music fill the air. You can sing, when there's nothing else to do, sing. When something deep inside of you tells you that life is still a wonder, just throw back your head and sing.
The psalmist said, "Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations."
Then he said sing, from a laughing heart just sing. When the night is darkest, sing. Let your joy explode and let music fill the air.
You can sing,
When there's nothing else to do, sing. When something deep
washed in the blood. But it wasn't till I stumbled and made my mistakes that I could know in my soul how amazing was grace. You brought me blessings out of a tragedy. You turned my old song into a symphony. And with your spirit living inside of me, I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation. And now I know what you were talking about. Went from my head into my heart. When I was broken at the bottom, I found you're my healer and redeemer, Jesus. That's who you are. You brought me blessings out of a tragedy. You turned my old song into a symphony. And with your spirit living inside of me, I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation. But it wasn't till I stumbled and made my mistakes that I could know in my soul how amazing was grace. You brought me blessings out of a tragedy. You turned my old song into a symphony. And with your spirit living inside of me, I'm a new creation. Oh, you brought me blessings out of a tragedy. You brought me blessings. You turned my old song into a symphony. And with your spirit living inside of me, I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation. And with your spirit living inside of me, I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation.
That's the new one from Mac Powell. It's called New Creation. The Bible says, "This is the day that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." And I'm rejoicing today. I'm rejoicing because he woke me up this morning and because he has forgiven me for my sins and because he loves me and because he calls me his very own. That's plenty of reason to rejoice. What you say? Can we do it? I believe we can. My name's Natalie Duncan-Emmons. I'm glad you're listening to the morning show. It's Featured Artist Friday. And Bradley Walker, he's going to be right here on the show, second hour, from our Featured Artist of the Week, Fortune, Walker, Rogers, and Isaacs. Well, Bradley Walker's going to be here, and he's going to be telling us all about the group. We're going to be playing songs off of their one and only project that they have out right now. It's called Brotherly Love, so we're excited about that. We've enjoyed playing that group this week. But for now, here's the inspirations. Bradley will be here second hour.
From the dawning of creation, all the saints of every nation who have lived on this earth and are gone shall awaken from their slumber, rise to join that countless number on that great resurrection morn. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, glory light will our brows adore. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise on that great resurrection morn. Those who've left us vacant places will be there with smiling faces, and our hearts there again will be torn. That will be a happy meeting, all our loved ones will be greeting on that great resurrection morn. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, glory light will our brows adore. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise on that great resurrection morn. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, glory light will our brows adore. We shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise, we shall rise on that great resurrection. resurrection, great resurrection, resurrection morn, resurrection morn.
Watch ye, therefore, you know not the day when the Lord shall call your soul away. If you're fighting, striving for the right, you shall wear a robe and crown. Watch ye, therefore, you know not the day when the Lord shall call your soul away. If you're fighting, striving for the right, you shall wear a robe and crown. I'm gonna wear a crown, wear a crown, gonna wear a crown, wear a crown. When the trumpet sound, when the trumpet sound, oh, I'm gonna wear a crown. Just as soon as the beat strike, I'm gonna lay down, gonna put on glory, gonna shout the right story. We shall wear a robe and crown. Watch ye, therefore, you know not the day when the Lord shall call your soul away. If you're fighting, striving for the right, you shall wear a robe and crown. I'm gonna wear a crown, gonna wear a crown. When the trumpet sounds, when the trumpet sounds, I'm gonna wear a crown. Just as soon as the beat strikes, Zion lay down, a heavy burden to put on, my robe of glory shout, tell the glad story, sit down beside Jesus, tell how I made it over, put on my robe of glory shout, tell the glad story, we shall wear a robe and crown. I'm gonna wear a crown, gonna wear a crown, when the trumpet sounds, when the trumpet sounds, gonna wear a crown. Just as soon as I'm gonna lay down, gonna put on, gonna shout, we shall wear a robe and crown. Soon as the beat strikes, Zion lay down, a heavy burden to put on, my robe of glory shout, tell the glad story, sit down beside Jesus, tell how I made it over, put on my robe of glory shout, tell the glad story, we shall wear a robe and crown. I'm gonna wear a crown, gonna wear a crown, when the trumpet sounds, when the trumpet sounds, I'm gonna wear a crown. Just as soon I'm gonna lay down, gonna put on, I'm gonna shout story. We shall wear a robe and
Well, I've had a few people to ask me about the Quartet Convention, the National Quartet Convention that's coming up the last week in September. The dates for that will be September the 25th through October the 1st in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. If you're able to go to the convention, and I really think that you ought to go, you're just going to have a whole lot of fun things in store. Not only are you going to hear from, well, some of the top groups in gospel music, not all of them, but a lot of them. But you're going to hear from Brother C.T. Townsend, Dr. Dean Hahn, Dr. Robert Jeffress, Dr. David Jeremiah. That's some of the speakers that will be there throughout the week. You're going to get to be a part of the induction of the new Hall of Fame members. Our friend Les Butler, he has showcases going on during the daytime where they're showcasing a lot of the new and upcoming artists. Our friend Derek Loudermilk will be there with the Derek Loudermilk Band. Chronicle, Glory Way, several of the groups that we've had on our show will be participating in these showcases. The Songs of a Lifetime this year will be featuring Phil Cross. They featured Phil Cross last year. They are featuring Phil Cross and his songs again this year. And then the Singing News Fan Awards. That's going to be a big event on Friday of that week that I'm looking forward to that. Not because I have a lot of confidence in anything that has a vote. If you take a vote on it, well, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in it. I lost that in 2020 with our presidential election. But awards are just fun to me. So we'll take them with a grain of salt and we'll just have a lot of fun and see who wins. But we hope that you will consider going to the Quartet Convention. I'm going Wednesday through Saturday to the convention, and I think it'll just be a whole lot of fun. So if you'd like to go, you can always just Google National Quartet Convention 2022. The website pops right up. So anyway, we hope to see you at the convention. Maybe we'll run into each other.
On the ground, no matter where I go, I don't need to worry now that I know everything I need. You got this, honey, in the rock. Praying for a miracle, thirsty for the living word. Only you can satisfy. Sweetness at the mercy seat, now I've tasted. It's not hard to see. Only you can satisfy. There's honey in the rock. 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 Freedom with spirit, valley in the wilderness. You will always satisfy. to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus.
SouthernGospelPrizes.com has another win it before you can buy it prize for you. Greater Vision releases their new project, Think About There, September 27th. To celebrate, we're giving away 5 copies of the project before it's even available. You can register and find all the details at SouthernGospelPrizes.com. Southern Gospel Prizes for Southern Gospel fans. SouthernGospelPrizes.com.
Think about
a wonderful life, a beautiful place, a mansion's fair, and skies ever bright. For all who believe the Savior dear forever shall stay. And having been saved by grace divine, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. And Jesus, the Savior I adore, is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing His praises all day long. I'm going that way. Trials are past, and Noah shall meet Him face to face in glory at last. And yes, I believe that when we meet, well done He will say. Trust in His soul redeeming love, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. And Jesus, the Savior I adore, is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing His praises all day long. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. And Jesus, the Savior I adore, is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing His praises all day long. I'm going that way. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing His praises all day long. I'm going that way.
I can remember growing up in church as a child. There was this older gentleman. He would come find me every Sunday and pinch my jaws. The jaws that I didn't even have. And oh, while he was pinching my jaws, he would tell me that he loved me. Oh, this is such a precious memory to me.
They grew up in a day of black and white, where wrong was always wrong and right was always right. And you never had to wonder come Sunday where they'd be with their sons and daughters in pew number 3. But now this modern age has them feeling out of touch. The church has turned the page, isn't asking them for much. They're a fortune of knowledge, they've been through the fire. And to have them here among us, just think how blessed we are. Their wrinkles tell the story of how they made it through. They faced the rain and weathered storms, their scars scars are living proof. Their wisdom is a treasure right underneath our steeple. We could learn so much if we take the time to listen to older people. They can tell us how revival will melt a hardened heart, how teardrops on our Bibles is always where it starts. And when the way seems hopeless, the church can still achieve if we'll preach the gospel boldly and stay on our knees. I'd rather hear from those who've been there, telling how they overcame as they walked a road familiar and did it all in Jesus' name. Their wrinkles tell the story of how they made it through. They faced the rain and weathered storms. Their scars are living proof. Their wisdom is a treasure right underneath our steeples. We could learn so much if we take the time to listen. I don't want to miss the chance to sit and listen. We'll be blessed if we'll only pause and listen. Pause and listen to older people.
We're here to let the world know God's got a song, and it is the song of salvation through Jesus Christ and Him alone. And we will sing this song, and we will play this song as long as we have breath in these bodies. And then the Lord will give us a new song, a song that only the redeemed can sing, and we will sing that song through all of eternity. My name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons, and you are listening to The Morning Show.
Music, ministry, and more. It's The Morning Show with Natalie Duncan-Emmons.
You're listening to The Morning Show. And now, with your patriotic point of view, here's Larry Gressett.
Born Ernest Jennings Ford on February 13, 1919 in Bristol, Tennessee, Ernie Ford has made a lasting impact on America and the world through his accomplishments in radio, records, and television. Throughout his legendary career spanning over 50 years, Ernie Ford's early success as a radio personality led to his signing with Capitol Records in 1949. Through 1976, he released a total of 83 albums on the label and literally scores of single records. To date, it is estimated that Ford has sold more than 400 million records worldwide, an astonishing number even by today's standards. His first album of inspirational music, entitled simply Hymns, released in 1956, remained on Billboard magazine's top pop albums chart an unbelievable 277 consecutive weeks. Today, 47 years after his now legendary 1954 national debut on I Love Lucy, Cousin Ernie remains one of the classic television's most enduring characters. Then on October the 4th of 1956, NBC introduced the world to The Ford Show, starring Tennessee Ernie Ford. He was the third recipient of the Minnie Pearl Award for his lifetime contributions to both country and popular music. On October 18, 1990, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And on March 26, 1984, President Ronald Reagan presented Ernie with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor a sitting president can bestow upon a civilian on behalf of his country. Today, Tennessee Ernie Ford remains one of the most popular and beloved entertainers America and the world has ever known. I'm Larry Gressett with your Patriotic Point of View.
The Patriotic Point of View was brought to you by Joe McGee Construction. Joe McGee Construction believes family is one of God's greatest gifts. Family owned and operated for the past 33 years, Joe McGee Construction is the proud employer of some of Mississippi's best tradesmen. Together, we are supporting our communities and working hard to ensure that every commute to work and every ride to school brings us safely home to our loved ones. Valuing faith, family, and the Magnolia State, Joe McGee Construction is building safer roads for a better Mississippi. Joe McGee is my friend, and I thank him for helping us bring you the best mix of Southern gospel music, along with your patriotic point of view here on The Morning Show.
I'm always trying to be the man who would take a stand for what I believe. Lend my brother a helping hand, doing what I can for someone in need. I've tried to be good and sometimes I could, but other days it didn't work out. I was hot and then cold, meek and then bold. Trust the Lord and then have a doubt. You might think I'm not good enough, but that's a great thing about God's love. I breathe in, I breathe out. Nothing's gonna ever change why he would trade his life on that cross for my crown. And the only thing I have to do to ever make him love me is breathe in and breathe out. There's always gonna be someone who will be telling you you don't measure up. It doesn't matter how much you do, from their point of view, it's never enough. But God really loves you, he's thinking of you, and you're the apple of his eye. He's a friend and a savior, you have his favor, so leave the world's opinions behind. I don't worry about what people say, I just remember the price he paid. I breathe in, I breathe out. Nothing's gonna ever change why he would trade his life on that cross for my crown. And the only thing I have to do to ever make him love me is breathe in and breathe out. I know I don't deserve it, found I couldn't earn it. Jesus paid it all and now I'm free. The only way to show it to a world that doesn't know it is to live it and give it all he's asking of me. Just breathe in and breathe out. Nothing's gonna ever change why he would trade his life on that cross for my crown. And the only thing I have to do to ever make him love me is breathe in and breathe out. Nothing's gonna ever change why he would trade his life on that cross for my crown. And the only thing I have to do to ever make him love me is breathe in and breathe out. I breathe in and breathe out. Oh, breathe in and breathe out. I breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
In this world we have our troubles, sometimes lonesome, sometimes blue. But the hope of life eternal brightens all our hopes in you. And I don't wanna get adjusted to this world, to this world. I've got a home that's so much better. I'm gonna go there sooner or later. I don't wanna get adjusted to this world. I am longing for the coming of my Savior, Lord and King. Seems I hear new song I'd like to sing. And I don't want to get adjusted, oh, to this world, to this world, to this world, oh, to this world. I've got a home that's so much better. I'm gonna go there sooner or later. I don't want to get adjusted to this world. Oh, play it, boys. To this world. Well, I've got a home that's so much better. I'm gonna go there sooner or later. I don't want to get adjusted to this world.
Well, here's a little information that might come in handy for you. Amazon is doing something it's never done before, and it's going to make holiday shopping more expensive this year. Most people think that Amazon is the place that you go to buy, well, basically everything, and more importantly, to have it delivered within 1 or 2 days. And that's true. But what most people don't think about is that more than half of everything sold on Amazon.com isn't actually sold by Amazon. They're sold on behalf of third-party sellers. And the majority of those sales are simply fulfilled by Amazon. For those sellers, the holiday shopping season just got a little bit more expensive. That's because, according to CNBC, Amazon notified sellers last month that it would be imposing a surcharge of 35 cents per item for using its fulfillment center between October the 15th and January the 14th, which is naturally the busiest time for shopping online all year long because of Christmas shopping. So to be clear, those sellers already pay Amazon for the privilege of storing their products in its warehouses and for handling those orders. So this additional surcharge is on top of the fees that the sellers are already paying. Amazon says it's making the change due to the increased cost of, well, everything. So here's the new lowdown on Amazon. Everything's going to be more expensive. We already know it is, but it's just going to get worse. So just keep that in mind. The holiday shopping is going to be a little painful this year, especially at Amazon. Hey, we've been needing to cut back a long time. This may be a good year to start. Just might be. Here's the sound, God is Real.
We live in a world that always questions if there can be a God in heaven. Every day we hear the skeptics wonder how, saying the Bible is outdated, that there's no way to explain it, and the evidence is nowhere to be found. But I see it every time I look around. I know that God is real, and His glory is revealed in the heart of everyone who just believes. He still saves and changes lives, and there's no way to deny it. there's a living God who came and made me new. So I'll stay with him forever, and everything we face together is another story that will show the proof of the gospel truth. I know that God is real and his glory is revealed in the heart of everyone who just believes. He still saves and changes lives, and there's no way to deny the difference that he made inside of me. It's more than just emotion that I feel. He holds me when I'm falling. He hears me when I'm calling. He listens and he answers every prayer. It's settled and I'm sure of the reality of his love. I don't need to see his face to know he's there. I know that God is real and his glory is revealed in the heart of everyone who just believes. He still saves and changes lives, and there's no way to deny the difference that he made inside of me. It's more than just emotion that I feel. It's more than just emotion that I feel. God is
Well, I want to talk to you a minute about the good folks over at Hometown Roots in Sebastopol, Mississippi. It is football season. It's time. We're going back to school, and it's just time for football. And I want you to know now they've still got these spirit tees over at Hometown Roots where you can support your local high school. We've got the Bobcats, they've got the Hornets, they've got the Jackets for Union. So if you're in our area, you need to get one of these spirit T-shirts for your school to support your school, to support all of the players. It'll be a whole lot of fun. You can go to the game, wear the T-shirt. Also, Rainey and Me, they have the children's size shirts. They say game on. I believe they have the spirit tees in the children's size shirts as well. But they've got all kind of attire and T-shirts for football season, and it's just that time of year. If you don't order now, if you don't go get it now, well, you're going to miss out because these are going to go extremely fast. They're already going fast. So we want to encourage you to support the teams, support all of the players through Hometown Roots and Rainey and Me Children's Wear. 601-625-7512 is the number, but you can always look them up on the Facebook, Hometown Roots, Rainey and Me. All of that's out there. You can even order it online. Hometown Roots, that's the place to be this football season.
We need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave. These are the words that the Savior left us. Take the gospel as you go. Make disciples, baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. We need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave, we need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave. the church to rise up with our weapons in our hands. Take the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, and the power of God. We take a stand. We need to be brave. We need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave. We need to be brave. We need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave. Don't back down, don't give up. Make the message loud and clear. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. Don't back down, don't give up. Make the message loud and clear. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. We need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave, we need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave, we need to be brave, we need to be bold. We can't stop until the world is told. Though we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave, we might get weak, our God is strong and can save. We need to be brave.
When God looked down where the devil reigns, he saw a whole lot of people carrying chains. They were digging up holes with their very own sin. Oh, it's gonna be the grave the devil puts them in. They were bound by hate, they were bound by greed, they were slaves to the things that they just don't need. Well, Satan got a whole lot of people working on the chain gang. Shackled to the world, carrying their guilt and shame. But God saw a whole lot of people working on the chain gang. So he sent his son, and his son came to break those chains.
Well, there ain't no hope down in this hole. The devil's got a hold and he won't let go. Well, I got tired and threw my shovel down. I fell to my knees there on the ground.
Well, the devil said, son, you belong to me. So I cried to the Lord, would you set me free? I don't want to die, end up in hell.
Forgive me, Lord.
That's when the shackles fell.
That's when the shackles fell.
Satan got a whole lot of people working on the chain gang.
Working on the chain gang.
Shackled to the world, carrying their guilt and
shame. God saw a whole lot of people working on the chain gang. So he sent his son, and his son came to break those chains. God sent his son, and his son came
to break those chains.
He's gonna 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 break those chains.
The morning show now has a YouTube channel. We want you to know about that, to check it out, and to utilize it. If you go to YouTube, you can simply search for The Morning Show, Natalie Duncan-Emmons, and it's super easy to find. We're asking that you subscribe to that channel so that you can stay in the loop with everything going on right here on The Morning Show. There are over 70 episodes now archived on the YouTube channel and over 50 interviews that you can go back and listen to at your convenience. The YouTube channel is being brought to you by Family C RV Park and 21 Machine and Fab. Are you looking for a place to stay in the area? Do you need to just get away for a few days? Well, Family C RV Park here in Forest, Mississippi is exactly where you need to go. They have fully accommodated cabins with all of the amenities, wireless internet, direct TV, they have it all. Over 40 campsites, full hookup, sewer, water, electricity, all of that's included. And they have the best rates in the state of Mississippi. So we want you to go out and support Family C RV Park. It's 3246 Highway 21 North in Forest, Mississippi. That's our friends Larry and Renee Krim over there at Family C RV Parks. We appreciate them making the YouTube channel possible for the morning show. Family C RV Parks. That's where we want you to go visit.
Just inside the pearly gates, we will hear the music and get carried away. Immediately we'll take a part and sing along. Before you know we're singing everybody's song. Everybody's memorized every line, and everybody's harmonized in rhythm and rhyme, and everybody's mesmerized around the throne. Everybody's singing everybody's song. You may be a person who can't carry a note. You can't sing your way out of a paper tote. You won't be the you are when you're on that shore. 'Cause you'll be you are doing what you've never done before. Everybody's memorized every line, and everybody's harmonized in rhythm and rhyme. Everybody's mesmerized around the throne. When everybody's singing everybody's song. Every composer will lay down the writer's pen. There will never be a need to pick it up again. The perfect song is worthy as the lamb that was slain. It's written by the Lord and autographed in Jesus' name. Yeah. Everybody's memorized every line, and everybody's harmonized in rhythm and rhyme, and everybody's mesmerized around the throne. When everybody's singing everybody's song. I can't wait, Lord, to sing my heart. I can't wait to play my part. I can't wait, Lord, I'm ready to go. I cannot wait to sing what we will already know. Yeah. Everybody's memorized every line. Everybody's harmonized in rhythm and rhyme, and everybody's mesmerized around the throne. When everybody's singing everybody's song. When everybody's singing everybody's song. When everybody's singing everybody's song.
Well, I think it would be very fitting and appropriate to acknowledge the loss of the Queen this morning. She lived a life of dignity and duty and elegance and eloquence, honor and humility. And our world just seemed a little brighter while we had her in it. She was not our queen, but she was the queen. So rest in peace, Your Royal Highness. You will be missed.
Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side, which flowed, be of sin the double cure. Save from wrath and make me pure. Not the labor of my hand can fulfill thy law's demand. Could my zeal no longer know? Could my tears forever flow? All for sin could not atone. Thou must save, and thou alone. Oh, how marvelous, oh, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. Oh, how marvelous, oh, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. While I draw this fleeting breath, when mine eyes shall close in death, when I soar to worlds unknown, see thee on thy judgment throne. It's a rock of ages, a cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee, singing, oh, how marvelous, oh, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. Oh, how marvelous, oh, how wonderful is my Savior's love. How marvelous, oh, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. Oh, how marvelous, oh, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. It's a rock of ages, cleft for me. I'm gonna hide myself in thee. Hey, it's a rock of ages, cleft for me. I'm gonna hide.
We're glad you're listening this morning to The Morning Show with Natalie Duncan-Emmons. Stay tuned. The best is yet to come.
You're listening to The Morning Show. And now it's time for Your Pastor's Perspective, brought to you today by Dr. Robin Brumfield with Trustworth Living Ministries at robinbrumfield.com. And now here's Dr. Robin.
We view ourselves as being fairly self-sufficient, able to do pretty much what we think we need to do in our own strength. That we have capabilities, we have strengths, and we're able to conquer pretty much everything that happens to us on a daily basis in the own strength that we have. But in Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. That is through Christ. We can do everything. We need to depend upon him. Depend upon the Lord God. Depend upon Jesus Christ himself for our strength. Not try and do things in the flesh. Not try and do things according to our own abilities or according to the strengths that we have. But we're to learn to let the Lord work in and through us. That doesn't mean that we don't do anything for the Lord, but that we let him use our strengths and do what he can in and through us with him using our strengths. I'm Robin Brumfield with your pastor's perspective.
The Pastor's Perspective was brought to you by Salem Baptist Church in Lake, Mississippi. Salem is my home church, and I'm thrilled that they've partnered with the morning show to help us bring you, well, not only the best music in the world, but encouragement and words of life straight from God's Word. Brother Larry Duncan and the entire congregation at Salem, they invite you to come and visit whenever you get the chance. We're located just a few miles off of I-20 coming through mid-Mississippi. So if you live in our area, if you're ever traveling through our area on a Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, well, you stop off the lake exit and visit with us. Thank you to Salem Baptist Church for bringing you your pastor's perspective. Bradley Walker is here next, representing our featured artist of the week, Fortune Walker Rogers and Isaacs. He's here.
Jesus looked at the child lying still on her bed, not one breath and no life in her eyes. When he touched her, she woke with these words that he said, live again, child, it's time to arise. Oh, later on, Lazarus died. Jesus wept for his friend. He was moved by the crowd's anguished cries. Then he spoke in a voice that no death could withstand. Lazarus, come forth, it's time to arise. Oh, grave, where's your victory? Oh, death, where's your sting? You've been conquered by the Lord Jesus Christ. On that resurrection morning, like a bird on a wing, Jesus knew it was time to arise. Very soon the time will come for that meeting up ahead. How we've waited for that midnight cry. All the saints will hear that shout, both the living and the dead will be changed in a moment. We'll arise. Oh, grave, where's your victory? Oh, death, where's your sting? You've been conquered by the Lord Jesus Christ. On that resurrection morning, like a bird on a wing, saints will know it is time to arise. On that resurrection morning, like a bird on a wing, saints will know it is time to arise. Arise, arise.
My name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. You are listening to The Morning Show, and what a week it has been here on The Morning Show, because our featured artist has been, well, it's been these group of guys right here that we are so crazy about. Fortune Walker Rogers and Isaac. This has been a delight, and today is a special treat for us because, well, we have Bradley Walker right here on The Morning Show. I don't even know how we pulled this off, actually, but he's here. Bradley Walker, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you.
Look, we are pumped about this. We have been fans of yours for a good while now. We've kind of been watching you on YouTube and with the Gaithers and on Huckabee and all those fun things that you've been a part of. And look, you're something else.
Well, you know what? I'm just blessed. That's really what it boils down to. I'm just blessed to be able to do what I love. I've loved to sing all my life, and to be able to be associated with Bill and Gloria, and then to be able to sing with Ben, Mike, and Jimmy. I mean, my goodness, it doesn't get any better than those three in my book.
Absolutely. Well, Bradley, you hang with some good company. That's for certain.
Well, I have always been told all my life to surround yourself with good people. And I'm amazed at all the people throughout my life that God has crossed my path with to get to this very moment. I mean, getting to work with who you get to is just, it's not an accident. God's got a plan all along, and it's just looking back on it though, I'm just so thankful. I've known all of these guys for several years. I've known Ben Isaacs probably longer than any of them. I met he and his family years ago playing bluegrass music. We played shows together long time ago, and met Mike Rogers same way. He was playing with Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver when I met him. We were all running up down the road playing bluegrass, and then later on I met Jimmy again at a bluegrass convention in Nashville, and just over the years have loved what they've done individually. Yeah. And then when Ben called me to be a part of a group with them, I was like, man, he called me one night here at the house and said, what would you think about me and you and Mike doing a thing and adding Jimmy Fortune in with it? And I'm like, well, there's only one answer to that question. Yes.
That's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
Right. And so it's been just such a blessing. We talked about it for a pretty good while, and we finally got together a few years ago, and because we didn't know. I mean, we knew we loved each other's work individually, but we didn't know how it would mesh, if the voices would blend and what it would be. And man, when we got together the first time, it didn't take long to figure out that we were gonna have a lot of fun together. And so we have done that for sure.
Bradley, I have seen it before through the years where great, incredible, phenomenal singers on their own would come together and try something like this. It doesn't always work. It just doesn't always happen like this. Yeah. There has to be a special chemistry, and truthfully, God has to bless it. I mean, you can take wonderful singers, but if God doesn't anoint that and bless that, well, it's just a pretty sound without a true connection. But you guys are truly connected. The sound, the whole, not just the sound, but when I watch the interviews and I watch the things that are out there on YouTube, the four of you personally just seem to be connected and on the same page.
Yeah, we all love each other. We all, I said this last week, it's more than the music. Mm-hmm. For us, I mean, we love each other as people. We're fans of each other. But we just love being together. We don't even have to be singing. We can be sitting around a dinner table together, breaking bread, and we're going to be laughing, cutting up, joking, having a good time. We just love being around each other, and then to get to sing together. I mean, I think one of the things that makes this really special is the fact that all four of us can sing lead vocals, and all four of us can sing harmony vocals, different parts. And so we just have fun.
I want to say this, Bradley, it's sometimes it's a little hard to tell to the listener. It's a little hard to tell who's doing what. I mean, you guys can swap around so much, and I have a pretty keen ear, I think, but listening to this album, I've listened to it a lot, but listen to this album, sometimes I'll think I have it figured out, and then when I go to YouTube and look at it, I'll go, gosh, I didn't know he was singing that part. Because
Right.
y'all are so versatile and you're
Right.
so tight that you can just throw it off and one person you can swap it out. And it's like, wow,
And you know what's even crazier, Natalie, is the fact that we very rarely do we get together and really truly rehearse.
Wow.
Because we're all I mean, Ben, Mike, and Jimmy live really close together, and they're together a lot of times just hanging out. I live in North Alabama, about 100 miles away, and so we don't have a lot of opportunity for the four of us to have really, intense rehearsals and really have a chance to perfect stuff. So when usually, especially live, we most of the time we'll get together just right before a show and maybe run something, just kind of as a refresher. We joke and say, "Man, think how good this could be if we ever rehearsed."
Y'all practiced it. Wow. We couldn't
Right.
stand it. We couldn't stand it if y'all practiced it. So we best just leave it alone. But when you've got names like this, you're just able to do it. You can just do it and you can
Yeah.
feel what the other one's going to do. And, you can either do it or you can't. And you guys can.
Well, I just always tell people that those guys make it very easy, to sing together. I mean, and I truly mean this when I say I feel so honored and so blessed to be a part of this with them, because honestly, they could have called anybody. They could have picked the phone up and called anybody they wanted to be a part of something like this. And the fact that they called me and that I get to be a part of this and make music with these guys and just to strengthen our friendship and our brotherhood, it's just all such a blessing to me. I'm so thankful.
Well, the fact that they called you just shows how smart that they are. And we're so glad that they called Bradley Walker, because the group would not be the same without you. You're just a special force in there. And I want to stop right now and play. It's kind of hard for me to say Fortune, Walker, Rogers, and Isaacs. I have to think about that as I'm saying it, or I'll get tongue tied. So a lot of times we just say brotherly love. We'll just say,
let me make that easy for you, because we have just finished a new project that'll be coming out sometime next year, and I think we've settled on we're going to call this group Brothers.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, because we didn't really come up with a group name out of the chute, because we wanted people to know, who made up the group. Because we felt like we would be known more for what we've done individually, and you're right. It is hard to say our last names all together. So just say Brothers, and hopefully people eventually they'll know who you're talking about.
Well, you heard it right here on the morning show. First, breaking news: Fortune, Walker, Rogers, and Isaacs is now brothers. That is a whole lot easier to say. But I'll say this, Bradley. It does look cool when you look and you see the four names there. It looks cool. And I do think it was great on that first album to put it like that, because it does identify who you are. Because we know those people. We know those names. We know who you are. And that was brilliant. It's just for me, it's a little bit of sometimes we shorten it down to make it easier. So now we're going to start saying Brothers. And I want to stop, and we'll play this one right now. We've played it on the show a couple of times this week. So we've been playing you guys. The show's 2 hours and a morning, and we've been playing you at least 3 times a show. So we've been getting a lot of what we call brotherly love around here this week.
Right.
And we love this one. That's the name of the song, Brotherly Love. And that just radiates off of you guys, that you really do like one another and you like being around one another. And it's easy to listen to. You don't always feel that with everybody. Sometimes you see a group up on stage, and sometimes even family groups, and you just in the back of your mind, you wonder, I wonder if they really get along with one another. But that's never questionable when I see you guys on a video or see you somewhere. It just radiates that you love one another.
Well, thank you.
So let's play this one. Go ahead, Bradley. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I was just going to say, we all love this song. This is an old song going back to Earl Thomas Conley and the great Keith Whitley. They had this out, and we love this song, and we kind of made it our own.
Well, let's play it. Here it is on the morning show by our featured artist of the week. I'm going to say it one more time: Fortune, Walker, Rogers and Isaac. Now they're called the Brothers. Here it is, Brotherly Love.
We share the same last name and the same color eyes, but we fought like tigers over that old red bike. I'm batting first and you can't use my glove. It wouldn't take long until push came to shove, but we looked out for each other with brotherly love. You hated girls till I had my first date. I brought her home from the movies. You stayed up late. 3 on the couch watching TV. I was smiling at her while you were laughing at me. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Brotherly love. There's a bond that brothers know, and it gets stronger as they grow. A love that time and miles can't come between. We disagree, but in the end, there will never be two closer friends. And brotherly love is something we all need. They share the same last name and the same color eyes, but they fight like tigers over that one red bike. And looking at them reminds me of us. They're gonna fight, they're gonna fuss, but they got something special. It's brotherly love. Yeah, we've got something special. It's brotherly love.
Bradley, we love that song, Brotherly Love. And I'll say this, I'm very familiar with that, the project that's called Brotherly Love. And I guess I knew all but about 2 of the songs on that project. And that's one that I was not familiar with. So I didn't know if that was a new one or if that, I didn't know that went back to Keith Whitley.
Yeah, that was a song I think that was released after Keith's death. We're all big country music fans as well, and I'm a huge, we all are huge Keith Whitley fans and big ETC fans too. And that was the first song when we were actually doing our photo shoot for that project. Ben asked me, he said, "Have you ever sang Brotherly Love by Keith Whitley and Earl Thomas Conley?" And I said, "No, not really. I knew the song, and I had sang it for a dear friend's at a dear friend's wedding years ago, but otherwise I'd not tried to sing it." Mm. And he said that day, he said, "That might be a good title for the project." Mm. And that's where that song comes from. Look it up. It's hard to beat that original recording of Keith and Earl Thomas, but that's where that comes from, and we love that song.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I want to talk about the project, but I have one little question I want to throw in. Now, you guys all have individual careers. You all have other things that are going on. Do you collectively tour very much? Do you perform together very much? Or is that kind of is it just pretty much recording that you do? Or how active are you together as a group?
We don't tour that much. I mean, we take dates when we can, you know, and we want to try to tour more. We just, as you said, we all have our own thing going. Of course, Ben with his family, the Isaacs. Jimmy has a very busy tour schedule with his solo dates. Mike plays with Kentucky Thunder, Ricky Skaggs' band, and they stay really busy. And then I perform on my own
Bradley.
too.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
About Mike?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
A lot of people are just finding out about Mike Rogers. And I'm going to tell you what, he is one of the most talented individuals you'll ever meet. He can play anything and sing any part. And, but yeah, he's sings tenor with Ricky on the road. And then I travel a good bit doing solo dates too. So we try to play as many dates as we can when our schedules will all line up and allow us to.
I want to throw this in about Mike. I don't know him personally, and I've been a fan of Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, and that's what I've have him connected with in my mind is Doyle Lawson. But that man's got a range on him, doesn't he? He can just sing all over the place. Of course, all of you can, but I've noticed that about Mike. He can just whatever you need him to do, he can do it.
Well, the fact that he can sing above Jimmy Fortune says something.
It
you know,
sure does.
I mean, because not many people can do that.
And Bradley, I mean, I've heard you sing. I was familiar with your other albums, your solo albums that you put out. I didn't know you were a bass singer. And when I looked, first saw this group put together, I just assumed you would be the lead singer, but you're the bass throughout a lot of this. What?
It's so funny because I didn't know I was a bass singer either, honestly. I told this story not long ago. Two dear friends of mine who are songwriters in Nashville, several years back, both recorded gospel projects. And they both asked me to come on and sing bass on their records, Larry Cordell and Jerry Salley.
Oh, Jerry Salley, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah. Dear friends of mine, dear friends. And I just kind of, I don't know what you would say, just wound up with this bass thing, and when we put this quartet together, I just naturally go to the bass parts on most everything. I mean, I sing some baritone too, and Ben will sing some bass, but it's one of those things that I never envisioned myself being known as a bass singer, but I guess that's just what God wanted, I guess. So that's what we're doing.
Well, we love it. And bass singers are my favorite. So you stay on that bass because it's amazing. You're just phenomenal at it. We love it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Let's talk just a minute about this project, Brotherly Love. Now, you said there's a new one coming out soon down the road. It's not here yet. So what we have today is called Brotherly Love, and we want everybody that's listening. We've been talking about the project all week, but we want to make sure that by today that all of our listeners have went out and downloaded this project, and they've ordered it or they've got it on their whatever, however they get their music, that they've got it. This is just an incredible project, and it's not, I don't think you could label this technically Southern gospel. There's a couple of traditional, I think maybe Southern gospel tunes. Oh, you got the Daddy sang bass, Mama sang tenor. That goes back to the conventional, gospel styles, Where No One Stands Alone. That goes, that's the old Mosey Lister song, goes back to the Redback hymnal that I remember it being in there. But there's a lot of other things on this album too. Even if you're not a traditional gospel music fan, you need this album because you're going to love it. If you've got roots in country music, the classic country music, you're going to love this because you guys took some of those hits and did that, like the old George Strait song, Love Bug. That's just a lot of fun. I think truly, if I'm just going to pick one that is my favorite to listen to, I think the best cut on the album is You're Only Lonely. That is a phenomenal cut that you guys did. That's amazing.
And you know what? That's the very last song that went on that project.
I'm glad you
Jimmy,
put it on there.
The thing about Jimmy Fortune, he can sing any style of music. He can sing from almost any era of music and make it sound as good or better than anything you've heard. And the thing about this group, you know, we love gospel music and we will always sing gospel music. We just love great music. You know, we love, we're all big country music fans. Jimmy brings a lot of classic, maybe what you would consider pop music. I mean, he cuts some Roy Orbison. We do some Eagles songs. Ben did the old Don Williams tune, Lord, I Hope This Day Is Good.
And we love it. It's beautiful.
Mikey, you know, he always kind of brings in a lot, you know, some bluegrass flavored stuff. He did Man of Constant Sorrow on that project. It's just, we just like recording good music, you know, and songs that people love. And so I hope that people will like, I think just about anybody, if you pick this project up or you download this project, you're going to find something on there that you like.
Absolutely. And on the morning show, and we're a new show. We've only been around about 8 months, but what we're looking for is just a mix. You know, we're predominantly Southern gospel, but we're not only Southern gospel, and different, you know, we're trying to reach all kind of people out there, and different people like different styles. And we're throwing in a little bit of all of it. And we're looking for wholesome, positive, inspirational, good, you know, good, positive music. That's what we're looking for.
Right.
And that's this album right here. So we want to make sure everybody gets it today. If you go out to Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, you're going to look for Fortune Walker Rogers Isaac for Brotherly Love. Let's throw in this fun one. We played this one, I don't know how many times on the morning show. It is truly a favorite. And I could play this song, and just about every time I'm going to get a text message or a message from somebody saying, I love that song. I've loved that song a long time. I remember somebody, you know, remember my grandparents singing, whatever. It'll bring back a memory for somebody when we sing this old song, Daddy Sang Bass. So I just don't think we can do the interview and not play that. So here's a fun one off that album that we just love. Here it is, Daddy Sang Bass.
I remember when I was a lad, times were hard and things were bad. But there's a silver lining behind every cloud. Just poor people, that's all we were, trying to make a living out of black land dirt. We'd get together in a family circle singing loud. Daddy sang bass, Mama sang tenor.
Me and little brother would join right in there. Singing seems to help a troubled soul. One of these days, it won't be long, I'll rejoin them in a song. I'm gonna join the family circle at the throne. No, the circle won't be broken. By and by, Lord, by and by.
Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor. Me and little brother would join right in there in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
calling all of us. You could hear us singing for a country mile. Now little brother is done gone on, but I'll rejoin him in a song. We'll be together again up yonder in a little while. Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor. Me and little brother would join right in there, 'cause singing seems to help a troubled soul. One of these days it won't be long, I'll rejoin them in a song. I'm gonna join the family circle at the throne. Oh no, the circle won't be broken. By and by, Lord, by and by.
Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor. Me and little brother would join right in there in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Oh no, the circle won't be broken. By and by, Lord, by and by.
Daddy sang bass,
Mama sang tenor. Me and little brother would join right in there in the sky, Lord, in the
All right, that one's a whole lot of fun. We love that one. We love the whole project. It's just phenomenal. Bradley, there's 4 people in the group. You've all 4 been very successful and achieved a whole lot of things, but there's only one of you that's here with us today on the morning show, and that's you, Bradley Walker. So I'd like to take this last segment and just talk a little bit about you, and just, maybe what you've accomplished, what you've done, because there's a whole lot of things to talk about when you talk about Bradley Walker. You started out really young singing, and just at the age of 4, you were on the stage with the Oak Ridge Boys. You got an early start in all this, and it didn't stop there. At 11, you were doing other things with the Oak Ridge Boys. Tell us about that. I mean, how did you ever get connected with those guys?
Well, I from the time I was 3 or 4 years old, could sing Elvira. And I had a dear friend here in town who was able to get me backstage at an Oak Ridge Boys concert when I was that young, at 3 or 4 years old. And I met the guys back then and just established what has become a lifelong friendship with the Oak Ridge Boys. And when I was actually 10 years old, they put me on national television for the very first time.
Wow.
We did the old, a lot of people know it as the Ralph Emery Show, Nashville Now, in March of 1989. And just from then, that was kind of the point that the time that I look back on is when I really thought in my mind that music might be a career path, for me, or something that I could do hopefully on a professional level, even at that young of an age. And just kept on singing. I mean, all my life I have been singing. I sang bluegrass music for many, many years. Had a bluegrass band, traveled all over the country for a few years, had some success there. And then I guess you could say, if you want to say big break or just a big blessing in my life, so many blessings and so many things down through the years that you look back and you can see, I think, as I said earlier, where God kind of uses all these people to chart his path for your life. I met 2 dear, dear friends of mine, Joey and Rory Feek. Many people know who Joey and Rory are. They recorded some with Bill and Gloria, and Joey fought a very courageous battle with cancer. And she went home to be with the Lord in 2016, March of 2016. And just a dear, dear friend. And I remain friends with Rory to this day. And they're just wonderful people. Little Indiana, their daughter, the whole family. Joey had requested that I sing Leave It There at her graveside. And so I did that and was honored to do it. And that's where Bill Gaither heard me sing for the very first time. We were outdoors by Joey's grave on their farm there in Tennessee. And no PA system, no nothing. It was just me and 2 dear friends of mine. We were singing Leave It There. And about a week or so after her service, I got the call and they said that Bill had heard me and that the Gaithers were interested in talking and possibly doing a video, doing a recording and all this. And it just, everything happened really fast. But that's how I came to be associated and be a part of the Homecoming family with Bill and Gloria. It just shows how God can take any situation, even a tragic situation like that, and bring something good from it, and that's, I had been, of course, familiar with Southern gospel music, kind of from a distance, just hadn't been running in those circles, for a long time. And but that's kind of how I got to where I am now, or got to be associated with Bill and Gloria. And that has been such an amazing blessing in my life.
I would imagine it would be a game changer.
It is, absolutely. It just, to have their stamp of approval and to, they use television so much as a part of what they do with their TV specials and with the videos and everything. That allows somebody like me who, I do travel and I tour as much as I can, but not as much. Travel is a little bit tougher for somebody in a wheelchair, and so to be able to use the power of television as your main way to get out in front of people, it's been a game changer, and I think that's exactly where God wanted me to be, honestly, because there's so many aspects of it. The music business can be a tough business. It is a tough business, and in a lot of avenues, someone in a wheelchair can be looked at as well. How are we going to deal with this? How's he going to travel? How's he going to do this? How's he going to do that? Bill doesn't see it that way at all. He doesn't see the wheelchair as an obstacle at all. He embraces it, and he has given me a place to kind of share my story and to introduce me to a much bigger audience. And I'm so thankful. And again, I just feel like it's God's plan for my life and for my music career and for what he wants me to do with my life.
Yeah. Well, you're very worthy to hang out in that circle with Bill Gaither, Bradley. You really are.
Well, thank you. I don't know about that. I don't know about being worthy, because it's I still pinch myself. We just did some events this year, several events with the Homecoming family, and I honestly just shake my head when I'm sitting on that stage, because and I just think, God, how in the world did I wind up here? But it's not by anything that I've done. It's all by the grace of God and just for trying to follow His plan for my life. And I'm just very thankful that I'm able to do it, because music has always been the thing that I love most.
Well, I wanted to play one that just features you and focuses on you this morning. And I had picked out Where No One Stands Alone, but I think I'm going to change that, because you mentioned singing at Joey's memorial service that day, and Bill Gaither heard you singing the song Leave It There. I just happened to have you singing that one, and I think it would be appropriate to play that, because it's amazing to hear you sing this song right here. So here it is, Bradley Walker with the song Leave It There. This is the one that Bill Gaither heard him sing for the very first time that Bill heard him. Here he is, Bradley Walker.
Leave it there, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord, oh, and leave it there. If you trust Him through your doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. If the world from you withholds of its silver and its gold, and you have to get along with meager fare, just remember in His word how He feeds the little birds. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. Leave it there, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord, oh, and leave it there. If you trust Him through your doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. If your body suffers pain and your health you can't regain, and your soul is slowly sinking in despair, Jesus knows the pain you feel. He can save and He can heal. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. Leave it there, leave it there. Just take your burden to the Lord, oh, and leave it there. If you trust Him through your doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. Thank y'all. Take your burden to the Lord, oh, and leave it there. If you trust Him through your doubt, He will surely bring you out. Take your burden to the Lord, leave it there. Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there.
Bradley, this has been a joy and a delight to get to spend this time with you on the morning show, and for you guys letting us feature the brothers this week on our show. This has been so much fun.
Well, thank you, Natalie, for wanting to feature us and for playing our music. It's such a blessing, and I've enjoyed getting to spend a little time with you.
Well, you know, maybe somewhere down the road, you mentioned maybe y'all doing some more tour dates down the road. Hey, Mississippi would sure love to have you guys. And even if we can't get the whole group, Alabama and Mississippi are kind of close. So maybe I got connections with a good church over here that likes good gospel singing. And what likes all kind of, bluegrass, whatever you want to do. So maybe down the road, we could have you over here and just let you be our guest, and we could listen to you sing, and we'll just host you up sometime.
That sounds great to me.
We'll work that out. Bradley Walker, you have a friend here on the morning show. Don't forget it.
Thank you so much, Natalie. God bless you, and I appreciate your time.
We enjoyed it. Thanks, Bradley.
Thank you.
All right, we are ending out this morning with our featured artist of the week. This one's just a whole lot of fun. It's just for fun on the album. Here's Man of Constant Sorrow. All right, thank you, Bradley. You've been a whole lot of fun. And you made
In constant sorrow all through his days, I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised, the place where he was born and raised.
I've been in trouble, the pleasure here on earth I find. For in this world I'm bound to ramble, have no friends to help me now. He has no friends to help him now. It's fare thee well, my old true lover. I never expect to see you again, for I'm bound to ride that northern railroad. Perhaps I'll die upon that train. Perhaps he'll die upon this train. You can bury me in some deep valley for many years where I may lay. Then you may learn to love another while I am sleeping in my grave, while he is sleeping in his grave. Maybe your friends think I'm just a stranger, a face you'll never see no more. But there is one promise that is given. I'll meet you on God's golden shore. He'll meet you on God's golden shore.
While I was sleeping, Lord, you were working on the mess I made like only I can do. When I start thinking I'm so far from you, I wake up to hear you whisper that's not true. Well, good morning, mercy. You call me worthy. Feels like the sun shining on my face. Living's good this side of grace. I feel it working. Goodbye to the hurting. You woke me up, put me on my way. Hallelujah, it's a brand new day. Good morning, mercy. Yeah, I'm still learning to trust in It feels like the sun shining on my face. Living's good, the side of grace. I feel it working. Goodbye to the hurting. You woke me up, put me on my way. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Good morning, mercy. Good morning, mercy. Good morning, mercy.
You're listening to The Morning Show, and now it's time for You're Happy When You're Laughing with your friend and ours, Mark Bishop.
This is Mark Bishop, and you're happy when you're laughing. Now, I go to church with an old fellow by the name of Brother Luther, and he's always saying something to crack us up. His favorite day of the year is a church homecoming. He said you get a good dose of the Lord, and you also get a free buffet. It's like a golden corral for the redeemed. He was causing a scene at the last homecoming, though. He was talking to some of the ladies, and I heard him say, we ought not to allow deviled eggs into the house of the Lord. He said, we work all year to keep the devil out of the church, and then we smuggle him in through the back door of the fellowship hall. He said, anybody who eats devil's food cake ought to examine their walk with the Lord. He was talking politics to us the other day, too. He had been watching the news. He said, I don't think they should have tried to impeach that president, but maybe they need to give a good talking to the fella that fixes his hair. He said, it looks like a rooster got tangled up in a bag of cotton candy.
If he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. If he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. When I lay my head on the pillow at night, counting all the blessings in my life, food on the table and a roof above, at the top of the list is my Savior's love. If he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Heart and he made it new. So I'm thinking there's nothing he can't do. Grace for the journey, strength for the fight, mercy in the morning, a song in the night. Yeah, if he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. If he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. If he never ever did another thing for me, I'd be forever thanking him for Calvary. He lived and he died and he rose in 3. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Hallelujah, that'll always be enough for me. Always be enough for me.
I'm thankful for the journey got me here. The roads at once didn't make sense, now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey got me here. There were dark and narrow places where I crawled and where I climbed. I had to travel roads that were confusing losing at the time. There were nights my heart was breaking, and I thought I'd been forsaken. But I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. There are many in this moment who are walking through a fire, but let me offer hope because of wisdom I've acquired. I can trust in where the road leads, looking back at what's behind me. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here.
Well, it's been a terrific Friday here on The Morning Show. Special thanks to Bradley Walker for spending a little time with us on The Morning Show, and for the brothers for letting us feature them all week long. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday, leaving you with Awesome Range.
Crying holy to the Lord, crying holy to the Lord. Oh, if I could, I surely would stand on the rock where Moses stood. Lord, I ain't no stranger now. Lord, I ain't no stranger now. I've been introduced to the Father and the Son. Lord, I ain't no stranger now.
been listening to The Morning Show with Natalie Duncan-Emmons. We're glad you joined us. We want to invite you back tomorrow when once again you'll hear some of the very best in gospel music and some of the finest in Christian entertainment. Will you join us tomorrow? Is it a date? We'll look for you then. God bless and goodbye, everybody.
Practice what you're preaching, put action to your teaching. Souls are searching, watching for what's right and wrong. It's up to me and you, do what you need to do. Walk and talk, you're speaking, practice what you're preaching.
If you're gonna talk about the way that you love Jesus, there's a world of doubters who are looking just to see if you give the way he gave, do the things he did, love the way he loved, live the way he lived.
Practice what you're preaching, put action to your teaching. Souls are searching, watching for what's right and wrong. It's up to me and you, do what you need to do. Walk and talk, you're speaking, practice what you're preaching.
I don't wanna come across here like I'm pointing fingers, but this is something serious for all of us believers. No better time than now, we've got a world to win. If you're wondering how,
all you gotta do is practice what you're preaching, put action to your teaching. Souls are searching, watching for what's right and wrong. It's up to me and you, do what you need to do. Walk the talk, you're speaking, practice what you're preaching.
practice what you're preaching, put action to your teaching. Souls are searching, watching for what's right and wrong. It's up to me and you, do what you need to do. Walk the talk, you're speaking, practice what you're preaching. Practice what you're preaching, put action to your teaching. Souls are searching,